Okay, so
Good morning,
you are
sir.
welcome to taxation class. In our last class, where do we finish? We start an introduction to taxation in our last class. I think do we are we have we finished the topic? Where do we stop in the last class? Who can remind us where we stop?
So we stopped at capital gain tax. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Okay, capital gain tax.
Yes, sir. Other types of direct
Okay,
tax.
okay. So today we continue from where we stopped. We are talking about type of direct tax. We have discussed capital gain tax. We have discussed development levy, petroleum profit tax. Petroleum profit tax is a tax imposed on profits of a company engaged in petroleum operation. Tax imposed on profits of company engaged in upstream petroleum operation. Another type of direct tax that we need to look at is petroleum profit tax. Petroleum profit tax, like I said, is a tax imposed on the profit of a company engaging upstream petroleum operation. All the oil and gas companies that deal with upstream, Shell, Chevron, Mobil, and so on like that, they pay petroleum profit tax. What do we understand by upstream? Upstream simply means exploration of crude oil, production of crude oil, sales of petroleum resources. So that is all these companies that deal with upstream petroleum operation, they pay petroleum profit tax. They will not pay company income tax on their profits. They will pay petroleum profit tax. However, there are some upstream petroleum companies that will pay petroleum profit tax. They will also pay company income tax. Why? Because they derive profit from any of the profit that they derive from upstream activities like exploration of crude oil, production of crude oil, refinery products. That one will be subjected to petroleum profit tax. But when you talk about distribution of refined products, like all these filling stations that we have, the distribution, marketing and distribution of refined products like diesel, PMS, and so on like that, that one is subjected to company income tax. It's not subjected to petroleum profit tax. What is subjected to petroleum profit tax is crude oil exploration, gas exploration, and so on like that. That is what is subjected to petroleum profit tax. So you will see some petroleum company, their profit will be divisible in a sense that some profit will be coming from upstream petroleum activities, while some profit will be coming from non-oil upstream petroleum activities. So the profit coming from upstream petroleum activities will be subjected to petroleum profit tax, while the one coming from non-upstream activities is going to be subjected to company income tax. So another type of direct tax that we have is hydrocarbon tax. Hydrocarbon tax was introduced by Petroleum Industrial Act 2021. This tax is also paid by upstream petroleum company. This tax is imposed on the profit derived by company engage in upstream petroleum operation. However, the upstream petroleum operation that pay hydrocarbon tax, there are upstream petroleum operations that deal with production sharing contracts. Production sharing contracts. Do you understand? So what make hydrocarbon tax to be different with petroleum profit taxes? When a petroleum company deal with production sharing contracts, that means the product, the crude oil, after producing the crude oil, they share it between the royalty owner, which is the government, and the IOC, independent international oil company. They share it among themselves. In that case, that one is going to be subjected to hydrocarbon tax. But when you talk about joint venture arrangement under upstream petroleum operation, joint venture arrangement is subjected to petroleum profit tax. Production sharing contract is subjected to hydrocarbon tax. So this is another type of direct tax that we have. Another type of direct tax that we have, education tax. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Good morning, sir.
Hello?
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So education tax, okay, we don't have education tax again. So education tax, as of today, it has been deleted by NTA 2025, Nigeria Tax Act 2025 have deleted education tax. No more education tax again. But before, education tax is paid by company. Apart from company paying company income tax, they will also pay education tax. Oil and gas companies too, upstream oil and gas companies too, they also pay education tax. But education tax is assessed at the rate of 3% of accessible profit. We have said it last week, but as of today, we don't have education tax again. Education tax has been deleted by Nigeria Tax Act 2025. So we don't have that again. Another type of direct tax that we have, technology tax. Like I said, technology tax is paid by some specified company, and it is imposed on their profit before tax, which is at the rate of 1% of their profit before tax. It is not all companies that pay technology tax. It is paid by some specified company listed under the Act of the NICDA Act. NICDA, NITDA, National Information Technology Development Agency. So this NICDA, they have an act. The act lists all the companies that can pay technology tax. Who are the companies that pay technology tax? Telecommunication company, bank, insurance, internet service provider, pension company. Most of the companies that make use of technology, that technology is the one driving their business, they pay technology tax. And this technology tax is at the rate of 1% of profit before tax. It is also collected by FRS, now called NRS, Nigeria Revenue Service. So, but it is not all companies that pay technology tax. Telecommunication company pay, banks pay, internet service provider pay, insurance company pay, pension company pays. However, for such company to pay technology tax in every year of assessment, the turnover of all these companies I mentioned, telecommunication, bank, and so on, before they can pay technology tax in the relevant year of assessment, their turnover must be more than 100 million. So this technology tax too, as at 2026 now, we don't have technology tax anymore. It has been deleted by NTA 2025. No more technology tax commencing from January 2026, 1st of January 2026. Another type of direct tax that we have, we call it Nigeria Police Development Levy Tax. Nigeria Police Development Levy Tax. This Nigeria Police Development Levy Tax is introduced by Finance Act 2019. This Nigeria Police Development Tax is introduced by, though there was an amendment made to it by Finance Act 2021. But as I'm talking to you today, we don't have Nigeria Police Development Tax again. This Nigeria Police Development Tax, and it has already 2025. It has deleted Nigeria Police Development Tax. When we have Nigeria Police Development Tax, every company pay Nigeria Police Development Tax. And this company, they pay Nigeria Police Development Tax at the rate of 0.005% of their net profit or adjusted profit. It is calculated at the rate of 0.005% of net profit or adjusted profit. However, as of today, no more Nigeria Police Development Tax. It has been deleted. So the type of direct tax that we also have, I mentioned this last week, development levy. This development levy was introduced by NTA 2025. That means we started this development levy, we start from January 2026. It is paid by all companies and it is imposed on the accessible profit at the rate of 4%. So that is it on this development levy. Every company pays development levy tax now. So it's NTA 2025. Every company pay development levy. If you look at section 59 of NTA 2025, that section 59 talk about development levy tax, and it is imposed on accessible profit of qualifying company. However, small companies don't pay development tax. So small companies that their turnover is less than 100 million, as of today, cannot pay development tax. A non-resident company company that is not registered in Nigeria, but they are coming to make profit in Nigeria, they don't pay development levy tax too. So that is that. This development levy tax is used to replace all those direct tax that was deleted by NTA. So development tax is being shared. 50% of development tax is shared to Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund, which is, they are the ones that manage education tax before. Tertiary education tax, the revenue collected by FRS from the tertiary education tax will be paid to TED Fund. Now, this TED Fund, they don't have education tax again, but 50% of what is collected from development tax is going to be paid to them. So you can see the sharing formula for development tax. So now let's look at indirect tax. Indirect tax, they are those tax imposed on goods and services Indirect tax, they are the tax imposed on what? Goods and services. They are borne by the final consumer. Indirect tax are borne by who? Final what? Consumer. They are borne by the final consumer. They are borne by the final consumer. So, what are the examples of indirect tax? Custom duties. Most of the imported products that was imported into Nigeria, they also pay custom duty on those products. This custom duty is collected by Nigeria Customs Service. So it's an indirect tax. So it's borne by the final consumer. We have another one called excise duties. Some of the products that is manufactured internally, but some of those products that they are manufactured internally, but they are dangerous to our health, like alcohol, cigarette, and so on like that. So they impose excise duty on them. Value-added tax. This one is the most common indirect tax. This one is imposed on all goods and services that are vatable, that are subjected to tax, and it is imposed at the rate of 7.5%. So it is borne by electronic transaction, so that those written documents and electronic transaction can serve as a legal binding in the court of law. So they are part of indirect tax. So all these are the indirect tax that we have. Custom duty, excise duty, value-added tax, stamp duty, they are all indirect tax. Now, let's go to, last week we have talked about principles of taxation. So now let's go to problems and challenges of taxation. What are the problems and challenges of taxation? Let's go to that. Let's look at that. Problem or challenges of taxation in Nigeria. One of the problems or challenges of taxation that we have in Nigeria is poor tax administration. Poor tax administration. This one has to do with the tax authority. So those who are managing the tax affair, those who administer the tax, the tax administrator, they are not doing the right job. So some people believe maybe they are not properly motivated. That is the reason why they are not carrying out their job diligently. So poor tax administration is one of the challenges or problems of taxation in Nigeria. Another one, multiplicity of tax. Multiplicity of tax means multiple taxation. One of the challenges of taxation in Nigeria is there is too much of different tax that we have that taxpayer pay. Do you understand? You will pay tax to federal government. You also pay tax to state government. You also pay tax to local government. Too much of multiple tax, duplication of tax on one income. So that is multiple tax. Multiple tax. So too much of tax on one income or on a single transaction. At the end of the day, you collect 100,000. Tax, different tax has been deducted from the 100,000. What is going to remain will be less than 80,000. So that is multiple tax. Government should help us to address this multiple tax. And I'm happy that one of the new tax law that was signed, one of the tax reform that was signed into law, I think Joint Revenue Board Act addressed this issue of multiple tax. This Joint Revenue Board Act, it addressed the issue of multiple tax. It talk about harmonized tax system. So the Joint Revenue Board Act is saying that every state must adopt an harmonized tax system. So another challenges of taxation that we have is lack of accountability for tax revenue and its expenditure. Lack of accountability for tax revenue and its expenditure. So most of the tax revenue collected by the government, some people believe that this tax that government is collecting, what is government using it for? That they can't see what government has been using the tax for. Government cannot justify what they are using the tax for. Do you understand? Poor value for money for tax revenue. That government cannot account for how they spend the tax revenue. So indirectly, it discourages people from paying tax. That after all, what we have been paying before, what are you using it for? You are not using it for anything. You can't account for it. You are just spending it lavishly. So this indirectly discourages so many people from paying tax. So lack of accountability for tax revenue and its expenditure is also one of the challenges of taxation in Nigeria. Another challenges of taxation in Nigeria is lack of public enlightenment and sensitization. Lack of what? Public enlightenment and sensitization. Tax authority, they need to do a lot of work. When there's any new tax law, I think tax authority should be the one to be sensitizing the people, educate them, create awareness. So that is one of the job of tax authority. Not the social media influencer. You can see these 4 new tax laws that were signed into law. If you look at WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitter, all these social media handle, it is the social media influencer, those people who don't know about tax, that they are creating a lot of false narration, misinformation about tax. Why? Because those who are supposed to do the job, the tax authority that are supposed to do the job, they are not doing it. They are not doing it. I expect that last year, FRS, LRS, every week, they should be organizing a workshop. That workshop can be done on either Twitter or on Facebook and so on like that, so that people can participate, giving them updates, providing guidelines, providing detailed explanation on this new tax law. But they are not doing that. Since they are not doing that, social media influencer, somebody that don't know anything about tax, is now the one creating information, creating false narration. If you want to send money, write donation, write gift, write this one, and so on like that. Some people are even saying, as from this 1st of January, if you have 20,000, if you have 100,000 in your account, bank will just suddenly deduct a tax of 30%, which is 30,000. What will be remaining in your account is 70,000. They will start deducting, and all these are false narration, misinformation. But since the tax authority is not doing it, so social media influencer take over. So one of the challenges we are facing is when there is a new tax law, people are not sensitized, they are not enlightened on what they need to do, how they need to carry out their tax obligation, and so on like that. So this is one of the key challenges of taxation in Nigeria. Another challenges of taxation that we have in Nigeria is level of corruption. High level of corruption among the tax official. The tax official, the tax collector, they are corrupt. Those who are working in the tax office, they are corrupt too. Sometimes they collide with the taxpayer to undermine government revenue, tax revenue, by understating the taxpayer liability. so that the taxpayer will give them some PR. So tax authority too, they are corrupt. So at the end of the day, let's say government supposed to collect 5 trillion from taxation in 2025. If care is not taken, if there is no proper monitoring, government will collect 4 trillion. The other 1 trillion will be as a result of corruption, high level of corruption, manipulation. You understand? So tax authority know that you're supposed to pay a liability of 300 million. They will say, no, you know what? You see, your liability that you're supposed to pay is 300 million, but we can help you. We can help you. Let's help you. Let's help you to reduce the liability to 50 million, and you will give us something. At the end of the day, that is corruption. So undermining, understating government revenue is affecting government revenue. All this kind of thing is affecting government revenue. So it's one of the challenges. So I'm happy one of the new tax law, which is Tax Administration Act, that Tax Administration Act does not only talk about how do we administer tax. It's also talking about what are the sanctions that need to be given to any tax officer that was caught collecting bribe or falsifying record for taxpayer and so on like that. So this new tax law is not only to punish the taxpayer, the tax authority too is not left out. It's not left out too. When the tax authority too misbehave, they have their own offenses too. They have their own punishments too, penalties too. So I'm happy for that. But I hope the relevant section concerning that maybe can be implemented. You understand? So another thing is to make a law. Another thing is to implement the law. So another challenges that we have for taxation is overdependence on oil revenue. Overdependence on oil revenue. Overdependence on oil revenue. These challenges has been the challenges of Nigeria affecting taxation since 1960, 1970. Why? Before, Nigeria government, they don't focus more attention on taxation. Why? Why they do not focus more attention on taxation? They only focus on oil revenue. Money coming from crude oil. They believe there is a lot of money on crude oil. Do you understand? They don't know that if they develop their tax system, if they redesign their tax system, the revenue that will be coming from tax system can times 3 of what we are getting from crude oil. But in 2016, when the price of crude oil is crashing, that is when government now open eyes that we cannot continue like this. So we have been having budget deficit because of our revenue, our estimated revenue from crude oil. We did not meet up to it. Why? Because there is a global crash in the price of crude oil. So don't let us fold our hand. Let's start remodeling our tax system. Let's start redesigning our tax system. Let's start paying more attention to our tax system. That is, if they do not do that, how are we going to survive today? Can you imagine if you look at the government budget today, federal government budget today? I can tell you categorically 60% of federal government budget or 55% of it is coming from taxation, not from the crude oil again. Before, 70% of our budget, 80% of our budget is being financed by crude oil. We don't even focus any attention on taxation. But right now, things have changed. So overdependence on oil revenue is also another challenges of taxation in Nigeria. Another challenges of taxation in Nigeria is high level of tax evasion among the informal sector. High level of tax evasion among what? The informal sector. Who are the informal sector? Those who are doing their business, self-employed persons. Those who are doing the self-employed business. Artisan, professional, one-man business, mechanic, furniture, tailor. And so on like that. Most of these people, they don't pay tax. They don't pay tax. Me and you, because we are working in a company, our employer is mandated to deduct our tax. Because we are working in a company, our employer is mandated to deduct what? Our tax. Assuming we are not working in a company, we are informal sector, we not even mind of paying tax. Because they will not come and ask us, we should come and pay tax. Except if they come and ask us. But one of the challenges we are facing in Nigeria is taxation of informal sector, taxation of those who are doing their own business, who have their own shop, who are selling and buying, all this market woman, all this celebrity, all this artisan, all these professionals, bricklayer, mechanic, furnishers, and so on like that. They don't pay tax. Some of them don't even have tax identification number. So how can we ensure that we put them in the tax net? That is the reason why this new tax law is talking that everybody that have a bank account, you must go and register for TIN. You must have tax identification number. So tax identification number now have become condition for open of bank account starting from January 1st of January this year. That has been the practice for a corporate entity before, companies. For a company to open a current account or any type of account, they must have tax identification number. Bank cannot open account for company without providing their tax identification number. But now, it has now been extended to individual. But for those of us that have a bank account already, we don't need to panic. Our NIN, bank will help us to use our NIN to generate our taxpayer ID. We too can do it by our own, by ourselves. Our NIN, we just put it in the JRB platform. It's going to help us generate tax ID. So all these are the challenges of taxation in Nigeria. You can be asked, what are the challenges of taxation in Nigeria? Number one, poor tax administration. Number two, lack of accountability for tax revenue and its expenditure. High level of corruption among tax officials. Multiple of tax. Poor public enlightenment and sensitization. High level of tax evasion among informal sector. So all these are the problems of taxation in Nigeria. Now, the other area that we need to look at here, National Tax Policy, NTP. National Tax Policy is a document that contains set of guiding principles, rules, and regulations that regulate Nigeria tax system. National Tax Policy is a document that contains set of guiding principles, rules and regulation that regulate Nigeria what? Nigeria tax system. This national tax policy serve as a reference for tax legislation, tax administration. So, and this national tax policy is developed by the Ministry of Finance. Now, what are the objectives of this national tax policy? To guide the operation and review of Nigeria. So, what are the objectives of national tax policy? To guide the operation and review of the Nigeria tax system. To provide guidelines for the review of the Nigeria tax system. Another objective is to provide the basis for future tax legislation and administration. To also serve as a reference point for all stakeholders in taxation. National tax policy has an objective that also serves as a reference point for all stakeholders in taxation. To provide benchmark on which stakeholders shall be held accountable. Another objective of national tax policy is to provide benchmark on which stakeholder shall be held accountable. To provide clarity on the role and responsibility of stakeholders in the tax system. To provide clarity on the role and responsibility of taxpayer and responsibility of stakeholder in the tax system. All these are the objective of national tax policy. So that is what we need to know on this national tax policy. Because what takes us to national tax policy? What takes us to national tax policy is called tax system. Tax system means tripartite of taxation in Nigeria. When we talk about tax system, we are talking about tripartite of taxation in Nigeria. And this tax system we are talking about has three elements: tax policy, tax law, and tax administration. Tax policy, tax law, and what? Tax administration. Like I said, policy, they are the guideline. They are the documents that contain set of guiding principles, rules, and regulations that guide the Nigeria tax system. When any section of the law is not clear, tax policy can provide detailed explanation on that section of the law. Tax policy is just like a dictionary that is used to interpret all the tax law. Tax policy, they are like dictionary that is used to interpret all the tax law. When there is a misinformation or ambiguity in the tax law, tax authority can publish a policy, or Minister of Finance can publish a policy, a guideline that will bring, that will clarify, that will give direction on what you need to do concerning that relevant section of the tax law that is proving conflicting before an amendment can be made. So, tripartite of taxation in Nigeria means tax system. And this tax system, we have tax policy, we have tax law, and tax administration. Under the tax law, Personal Income Tax Act is a tax law. Company Income Tax Act is a tax law. Capital Gain Tax Act is a tax law. Petroleum Profit Tax Act is a tax law. Value Added Tax Act is a tax law. So, Nigeria Tax Act is a tax law. Nigeria Tax Administration Act is a tax law. All these are the tax law that we have. When we talk about tax administration, they are the bodies charged with the responsibility of day-to-day running of tax system. This tax administration, we have them in the federal government. They are called Federal Inland Revenue Service, now called Nigeria Revenue Service. We have State Internal Revenue Service. We have Local Government Revenue Committee. So all these people, they are the tax administration. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we need to know on this introduction to tax. So, do we have any question concerning this so that we can move to the next topic? The next topic we want to look at now is talking about multiple taxation. Multiple taxation. That is the next topic. Multiple taxation. So, regarding the introduction to tax we have discussed so far, starting from last week, do we have any question, any concern? So, in the absence of no question, no concern, we can proceed and move to multiple taxation. Wow. So, multiple taxation. What do we understand by multiple taxation? What are the type of multiple taxation that we have? So, what is the difference between multiple taxation and double taxation? What is the difference between multiple taxation and double taxation? Multiple tax. This is a tax regime under which various and similar type of taxes are imposed on a taxpayer by different tiers of governments. A tax regime under which various and similar type of taxes are imposed on a taxpayer by different tiers of government. It is called multiple taxation. This is called what? multiple taxation. This multiple taxation simply means federal government collect tax, state government collect tax, local government collect tax, same on the same income in the hand of the same taxpayer. You have 100,000. Federal government collect tax on the 100,000. State government collect tax on the 100,000. Local government collect tax on the 100,000. That is multiple taxation. It's multiple tax. It's multiple taxation. A situation or a tax regime under which various or similar type of taxes are imposed on the taxpayer income by different what? By different tiers of government. By different tiers of government. That is multiple taxation. However, multiple taxation is different from double taxation. Multiple taxation is different from double taxation. Double taxation is a situation where income is subjected to tax more than once by different tax jurisdictions in different countries. So the major difference between multiple taxation and double taxation is double taxation involves two or more countries, country A and B. When you receive income in country A, you pay tax. You take the income to country B. Country B asks you to come and pay tax again. That one is what type of tax? Double taxation. But in the case of multiple taxation occur within one country. Within what? A country. It does not involve two or more countries. It occurs within Nigeria. Federal government collectors, state government collectors, local government collectors. What type of taxes is that?
Multiple taxation.
So that is the difference between multiple tax and double taxation. Now, type of multiple taxes. What are the type of multiple taxes that we have? Type of multiple taxes. What are the type of multiple taxes that we have? Entertainment tax, road tax. Entertainment tax is a multiple tax. When you go to cinema to watch a movie, your ticket for watching the movie, you pay some kind of tax on them. Some of the tax is paid to Nigeria Censor Board. We have federal government censor board called National Censor Board. State government to have their own censor board, like Lagos State Censor Board. They collect tax on every ticket that you pay to watch movie in a cinema. That is multiple tax. Road tax. This one common to commercial driver, commercial vehicle. Some of them will pay tax, daily collection tickets, daily ticket. Some of them will pay it to state government. Local government too will have their own enforcement team that will be collecting some daily tickets from the commercial drivers. That is multiple tax. There are some, if you want to operate a commercial vehicle business in Nigeria, you want to operate a commercial transport business in Nigeria, there are some documents that you collect from state government. If you are operating within a local government, there are some local government that will say you need to collect some document from them. That is multiple tax. That is multiple tax. Another one, permit for closure of streets. You want to do an event, you want to close the street for the event, you need to collect a permit. Apart from paying the local government, you need to collect from the state ministry of environment. That is multiple tax. Why can't we give it to one government to collect? Market taxes and levy. There are some public markets, state government collect their own daily collection tickets. Local government will collect their own too. It's multiple tax. Sales tax is a multiple tax. Federal government collect a sales tax called value-added tax. While state government also collect a sales tax called consumption tax. That is a multiple tax. So all these are the multiple taxes. They are the type of multiple taxes that we have, or forms of multiple taxes that we have. Now, what are the causes of multiple taxation in Nigeria? Why do we have multiple taxes in Nigeria? Why do we have multiple taxes in Nigeria? Why do we have multiple taxes in Nigeria? Why some of the government, they are engaging in multiple taxes in Nigeria? Even multiple taxes, when you look at it critically, it's not a good thing. Some of these multiple taxes collected by state government and local government, some of them are not accountable. You can't account for it. They cannot account for it. Some of them are collected through the use of area boys, which some of the leaders, they will be the one to collect the lion's shares. You can't account for it. So why do we have multiple taxes in Nigeria? Why do we have multiple taxation in Nigeria? Number one, lack of funding, particularly for most states. Lack of adequate funding of some states. Some states, they don't have adequate funding. They are not receiving enough statutory allocation from the federation account. So they need to have way of generating IGR. So one of the way for them to generate IGR is to introduce some form of taxes that are even not stated in the law or in the name of revenue generation. Another causes of multiple taxation that we have is lack of local government autonomy. Some states, they deny local government their revenue autonomy. The revenue of local government, statutory allocation paid to local government coming from federation account, some of the state governments don't give them. They deny them from collecting it. Some of the state government hijacked it from the local government. They won't pay it to the local government. So local government don't have any choice. Local government have to pay salary of their staff. They have to do projects. They have to do a lot of maintenance. So they don't have any choice than to engage in multiple tasks. They don't have any choice than to engage in multiple tasks. Lack of education and awareness. The taxpayers too, they are not educated, they are not aware. All what they know is, government want to collect one fee from us, so let us pay. They don't know whether that fee is legal or illegal. They want to avoid government problem. They want to avoid government problem. So they don't want any problem from local government or state. Please, no, I don't want the problem. Let me just give them the money. So in Nigeria, we don't normally challenge tax law. We don't normally take tax authority to court. So I'm not saying they don't normally take them to court, but it's not common. Nigeria just believe that they are right. So Nigeria don't know that tax right, that this is my right as a taxpayer. This tax authority have infringed on my rights, and so on like that. It's another causes of money. In some states, we have too much of revenue agency. Some states design their ministry, all their ministry, as a revenue agency. Ministry of Environment are supposed to be looking at how environment is. They will count it as a revenue agency. They will give them targets. Ministry of Transport, revenue agency. Ministry of Health, revenue agency. Revenue agency, revenue agency. At the end of the day, all these revenue agency you are creating will result into multiple tasks. It's going to result into what? Multiple tasks. Overlapping taxing rights, as contained in the Constitution, is another causes of multiple tasks. Some of the state government, they carry out overlapping taxing rights on some of the taxes and levies that are supposed to collect by local governments. There are some of the taxes and levies that local governments supposed to collect, but to our surprise, some of the state government, because of their state law, they have been the one to be collecting it. Like when we talk about tenement rate, which is somehow related to land use charge, it's a responsibility of a local government. Advert permit is a responsibility of a local government. Even issuing of marriage certificates, federal government should not be doing marriage registry. It is local government, but it has been hijacked. Manual tax administration system is another causes of multiple taxation in Nigeria. Manual tax administration system is also another causes of what? Multiple taxation in Nigeria. So that is that on multiple taxation in Nigeria. Method of collection of multiple taxation. Which method government used to collect multiple taxation? Majorly, as stated in this note, there are two methods. Mounting of road block. They block the road for motorists not to pass. Show me your document. Show me your this. Show me your JTB certificate, JTB registration this. Mounting of road. This one is done through the use of area boys, touts. Or another method, the use of revenue agents, or they call them revenue consultants, politicians. They will be the one to hijack it, collecting tax on behalf of government. They will call themselves revenue agents or consultants. So they are the two major methods of multiple tax. Now, what are the impact of multiple taxes on Nigeria business? What are the impact of multiple taxes on Nigeria business? What impact multiple taxes we have on Nigeria business? Multiple taxes make business to be cumbersome in Nigeria. Multiple taxes, it make business to do business in Nigeria because of multiple taxes. It make business to do. It's those people doing business, it made their business to be very difficult to carry out. For them to do business, they will find it so hard. Because of what? Because of multiple tasks. Because of what? Because of multiple tasks. So they find it difficult indirectly because business is so cumbersome for them. They may engage in tax evasion. They may engage in what? Tax what? Evasion. So that is multiple tasks. That is one of the impact of multiple tasks. Another impact of multiple tasks is multiple taxation results into high mortality rate of SME in the country. Most of the small scale business, they don't stay long. Some people want to start doing pure water business. because of too much of regulation, too much of tax. Before you know, if that person spends 10 million to start a pure water business, before you know, you just close up, you go and sell the machine. You say, I can't continue. Too much of problem is coming from government. This one, that, come and pay this to NAFDAC, come and pay this to Sun, come and pay this to Ministry of Environment, come and pay this to Ministry of Water, come and pay this to, you understand? At the end of the day, FRS will also come, LRS will also come. So most of the small scale business, they don't stay for test of time. They die at the young age. They cannot continue. Why? Some of the complaints they are giving is Nigeria, there is too much of different tax, either directly or indirect or illegal tax. When you say, let me start selling something, let me put it on my car, let me just be taking it, before you know, area boys we say, block the road. This good you are carrying. The law says you should not be carrying some kind of this good, and you need to pay penalties on that. So a lot of that is killing SME. Another impact of multiple taxes is multiple taxes can reduce the size of capital stock. It can reduce the size of capital stock. It reduces the size of what? Capital stock. Most of the capital that you use to start business can be eroded because of multiple taxes. Multiple taxes discourage foreign direct investment. Some of the foreigners that want to come and invest in Nigeria, they are not willing, they are not interested, they don't want to come to Nigeria. They are afraid to come to Nigeria because of what? Because of this too much of multiple taxes. Because some of these multiple taxes, they are not automated, they are not documented, they don't have record, they are not backed by the law. And most of these white people, they prefer something that follow the law, that is stated in the law. So it's a challenges to multiple taxes can lead to lower job creation, or it can lead to unemployment. Some of the company about 3 years ago, some of the company fold up in Nigeria. They close the operation in Nigeria. They relocate to neighboring country. One of their complaints is because of too much of multiple taxes and cost of diesel. They relocate to a neighboring country. By relocating to neighboring country, they will not take all their staff to neighboring country. They will go and employ the indigene or the citizen of the neighboring country. So some of their staff working here in Nigeria, they don't have any choice than to ask them to go home. They will ask them to go home. They will start sleeping at home. So, can see, multiple taxes can lead to high rate of unemployment or lower job creation, loss of human capital. So, that is that. Now, we have talked about the problems, causes of multiple taxes. What are the solutions to multiple taxes in Nigeria? How can we ensure that these multiple taxes in Nigeria we address it, is reduced, is eliminated, or minimized? We need to review our current statutory provision, which is our constitution. We need to review our constitution to address overlapping taxing rights and to impose penalty for contravention of the law. Our constitution needs to be amended to say that if any state collect the taxes and levies that are supposed to be collected by local government, that state is going to pay, is going to be sanctioned and is going to be penalized. Another solution, make available to the local government all the revenue from the federation account. This one is talking about you should give local government autonomy. You should pay their revenue to the account direct from the federation account. Don't pay it to the state. Don't ask state to share it for them. Another one, adequate funding of various agencies and departments of the state government. We need to fund, if we set up any government agency or department, let's fund them. Don't be asking them to go and generate their revenue. Go and generate your revenue. Go and generate. They may engage in illegal activities. Review the constitution to address overlapping taxing rights. Maintain an updated database of taxpayers in Nigeria is another solution. Maintain an up-to-date database of taxpayers in Nigeria. Another one, automated tax collection process. You should ensure that our tax collection process is automated, or we should have an harmonized tax system like we have in the new law now that talk about every state must align with harmonized tax system. So all these are the solutions to multiple taxes in Nigeria. Now, the last for today is, what are the taxes and levy collected by each tiers of government? What are the taxes and levy collected by each tiers of government? Let's start from the taxes and levy collected by federal government. Company income tax is collected by federal government. Petroleum profit tax is collected by federal government. Education tax is collected by federal government. Development levy tax is collected by federal government. Value-added tax is collected by federal government. Capital gain tax on corporate bodies and non-resident individual is collected by federal government. Stamp duty on corporate body is collected by federal government. Custom duties is also collected by federal government. Excise duty is also collected by federal government. Hydrocarbon tax is also collected by federal government. Technology tax is also collected by federal government. All these are the taxes and levies collected by federal government. What are the taxes and levies collected by state government? What are the taxes and levy collected by state government? What are the taxes and levy collected by state government? Taxes and levy collected by state government. Personal income tax is collected by state government. Capital gain tax on individual transaction is collected by state government. Stamp duties on individual transaction, is collected by state government. Lotteries, gaming, and casino taxes, betting taxes, pool taxes, they are collected by state government. Road tax are collected by state government. Business premises registration. This business premises registration for a new company is 10,000, while for an existing company is 5,000. Every company pay it annually. Is collected by state government. Development levy for employee or for individual is also collected by state government, which is 100 naira per person. Right of occupancy fee on land is also collected by state government. Market taxes and levy is also collected by state government. Now, what are the taxes and levy collected by local government? What are the taxes and levy collected by local government? Shop and kiosk rates, tournament rates, marriage, birth and registration fee, slaughter slab fee is also collected by local government. Motor park fee, radio and television license, motorcycle and bicycle license is also collected by local government. Illegal parking fee is also collected by local government. Signboard and advertisement permit fee is also collected by local government. So all these are the taxes and levies collected by local government. So this is what we have on multiple taxes in Nigeria. So do we have any question concerning what we have discussed so far? Any observation? Please let us know. Do you have any question? So in the absence of no question, so this is where we are going to stop today. But by next week, I promise, we will end our lecture by 10:30. We'll be ending our lecture by 10:30, 2 hours, 30 minutes. So probably by next week, we are going to start calculation. So by next week, lecture will start 8 on dot and end by 10:30. So thank you for having me.
Sir,
Yes.
hello, sir. The timetable is saying 11 o'clock.
Sir?
I said the timetable is saying that lecture is to end by 11 o'clock before not
Okay,
10:30.
by 11, is it 3
Yes, sir.
hours lecture?
8 to 11. The
8
new
to 11.
timetable.
About 3
Oh, the
hours will
new
be too
timetable.
long. Though.
I thought it's 2 hours, so that is the reason why I want to stop. Oh.
No, sir. If you see the new timetable, the one that was created
Okay, 8 to
again.
11. There's no problem. That means starting from next week, please, 8 to 11 will be okay. So that you understand, because I thought it's 2 hours. So normally our lecture is supposed to be 2 hours. So 3 hours lecture. Hope students is not going to be
3
tired.
hours lecture will be too long.
Though it's on Sunday now, you are enjoying
It's
at
on
home
Sunday
now.
and it's the only subject we're having on Sunday.
No, you are still having FR in the evening. No,
Okay.
you are having FR in the evening.
FR is 2 classes.
Yes, FR is 2 classes. So please, starting from next week, we adopt the timetable 8 to 11. So it's
Sir,
even
please.
okay.
Sir, please, like if we are reading and we have any question and when there is class, can we ask?
Yes, you can ask. You can
Okay.
ask. You are paid for that. You can ask. Even in the group chat, my number is there. My colleague, the second lecturer, his number is there. You are free to send message to us, WhatsApp message.
Okay.
If you have
Okay.
any issue, we will respond. That is what we are paid for. That is what we are paid for. So
Okay, sir.
you can ask any question. So
Hello.
by next, yes.
Okay, so this tax, I can see that the notes are coming in piecemeal for, okay, is this how it's going to be for now?
Yes, that is how it's going to be for now. But before the end of the diet, we are going to consolidate all the notes together, combine them together, so that we can have a one combined lecture notes.
Okay.